Folks, gather round for a tale of power, intrigue, and one man's journey from farm boy to president. Today, we're diving into the life of Emmerson Mnangagwa, Zimbabwe's current big cheese. You might know him as the crocodile. Mnangagwa's story is like a real-life Game of Thrones, minus the dragons. He's been a freedom fighter, a spy chief, and now the president. Talk about a career change. He's seen it all, from the fight against colonial rule to the tumultuous years under Robert Mugabe. And now he's the man in charge. But here's the thing, Mnangagwa is as controversial as a pineapple on pizza. Some people love him, others not so much. He's been praised for his economic reforms and criticized for human rights abuses, so buckle up, folks. We're about to take a wild ride through the life of Emmerson Mnangagwa. From his humble beginnings to the presidential palace, it's a story full of twists, turns, and more drama than a telenovela. Let's dive in and see what makes the crocodile tick. Picture this, it's 1942 and a little boy named Emmerson is born in Zvishavani, a small mining town in what was then southern Rhodesia. Little did anyone know that this kid would grow up to lead the country. Mnangagwa's childhood wasn't all fun and games. His family was forced to move to Zambia when he was young because his father stood up to the colonial authorities. As a teenager, Mnangagwa wasn't sitting around playing video games. At 16, he was already setting fire to a steam locomotive as part of his resistance activities. This rebellious streak led him to join the Zimbabwe African National Union, ZANU, in 1963. He quickly rose through the ranks, becoming a guerrilla fighter. Mnangagwa went from farm boy to freedom fighter faster than you can say Zimbabwe. And folks, this was just the beginning of his wild political ride. After independence in 1980, Mnangagwa didn't just sit back and relax. He became a key player in Robert Mugabe's government. He held various positions, including Minister of State Security. Basically, he was Zimbabwe's spy chief. But Mnangagwa wasn't content with just being a minister. He had his eyes on the big prize, the presidency. For years, he was seen as Mugabe's likely successor. Mnangagwa's rise wasn't all smooth sailing, though. In 2004, he lost his position as ZANU-PF's Secretary for Administration. By 2014, he was appointed as Vice President. Throughout his climb up the political ladder, Mnangagwa made allies and enemies. He was known for his loyalty to Mugabe, but also for his own ambitions, and folks, all this maneuvering was about to pay off in a big way. The crocodile was circling, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Now, folks, let's talk about conflicts, because if there's one thing Mnangagwa knows how to do, it's fight. First up, we have the internal ZANU-PF power struggles. One of the biggest conflicts was with Joyce Mujuru, another potential successor to Mugabe. Mnangagwa eventually won this battle, with Mujuru being expelled from the party in 2014. But the biggest conflict was yet to come. In 2017, Mugabe fired Mnangagwa as vice president. Mnangagwa fled the country, fearing for his life. But did he give up? Heck no, he came back with a vengeance. With the support of the military, he orchestrated Mugabe's ouster. And let's not forget about the opposition. Mnangagwa has faced fierce competition from the Movement for Democratic Change, MDC. And folks, in Zimbabwe's political ring, the gloves are always off. Now let's give credit where credit is due. Mnangagwa has had some successes both before and after becoming president. First up, his role in the liberation struggle. The man fought for Zimbabwe's independence. As president, Mnangagwa has made efforts to revive Zimbabwe's economy. He's managed to attract some foreign investment and has made moves to re-engage with the international community. One of his biggest achievements has been the land reform program. Mnangagwa has been working on compensating white farmers who lost their land. Mnangagwa has also made some progress in fighting corruption. Of course, critics say it's not enough, but hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. Section 6, the dark side of power. All right, folks, it's time to dive into the murky waters of scandals. First up, we've got the Gukurahundi massacres. In the 1980s, thousands of Ndebele civilians were killed by the army. Mnangagwa was the security minister at the time. Then there's the issue of election rigging. Mnangagwa's victories in the 2018 and 2023 elections have been contested by the opposition. The international community has raised eyebrows too. Let's not forget about the corruption allegations. Despite his anti-corruption stance, Mnangagwa has been accused of being involved in shady deals. And then there's the crackdown on dissent. Human rights organizations have criticized Mnangagwa's government for suppressing protests and arresting activists. Section 7, Steering Zimbabwe in Modern Times. Now let's talk about what Mnangagwa's been up to lately. First up, there's the economy. Mnangagwa's been trying to right this ship harder than a captain in a perfect storm. He's introduced a new currency, courted foreign investors, and even legalized marijuana farming. On the international front, Mnangagwa's been busy too. He's been globe-trotting, trying to improve Zimbabwe's image. Domestically, Mnangagwa has been pushing for infrastructure development. It's all part of his Vision 2030 plan to make Zimbabwe a middle-income country. And let's not forget about COVID-19. Like every other leader, Mnangagwa had to deal with this curveball, but despite these efforts, Zimbabwe, like many countries, has struggled with the pandemic's impact. Section 8, a polarizing figure. All right, folks, let's talk about Mnangagwa's legacy. Some people love him, others, well, let's just say they're not sending him Valentine's cards. To his supporters, Mnangagwa is a liberation hero who's trying to turn Zimbabwe around. They see him as the guy who finally showed Mugabe the exit door and is now trying to clean up the mess. But his critics, oh boy, they've got a different story to tell. They see Mnangagwa as Mugabe 2.0, just with better PR. They point to the continued human rights abuses, the disputed elections, and the struggling economy. Internationally, opinions are just as mixed. Some countries have welcomed Mnangagwa's open-for-business approach. Others remain skeptical, pointing to the lack of significant reforms and continued reports of rights abuses. And let's not forget about the younger generation of Zimbabweans. Many of them are frustrated with the old guard, Mnangagwa included. Section 9, the ongoing saga of Mnangagwa. So, where does this leave us? Well, folks, the story of Emmerson Mnangagwa is far from over. Will Mnangagwa manage to turn Zimbabwe's economy around? Will he loosen his grip on power and allow for more democratic reforms? One thing's for sure, Mnangagwa is not going anywhere anytime soon. He's secured another term as president, disputed as it may be, and he's got plans. Whether those plans will actually improve the lives of ordinary Zimbabweans remains to be seen. The challenges facing Zimbabwe are huge. Can he deliver on his promises of reform and prosperity? Or will Zimbabwe continue to struggle under his leadership? As we wrap up this whirlwind tour of Emmerson Mnangagwa's life and career, one thing is clear: love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. So stay tuned.